Good morning, everybody. It is April 19th, 8:25 a.m. Got a couple new subscribers, so welcome to my channel. We're going to get into market profile and volume profile a little later. Talk about my analysis from yesterday. Talk about exactly what happened, what I talked about yesterday in the NASDAQ. 2 days in a row, single prints getting cleaned up. We're going to get into news. But first off, start introduction. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I specialize in volume and market profile. I've been doing it for almost 5 years. I use that in conjunction with supply and demand, key levels, and I've been starting to use some gamma exposure. But I'm not going to talk about that until I really work out everything I see with that. So welcome anybody who's new today to the channel. Hope you get some insight from what I talk about, and trying to build that channel. So please, I'm at 99 subscribers. If you're watching, please make it for give me the 100. I'm looking for that 100. All right. You can always follow me on Twitter as well, Gonzo719. Instagram is Gonzo719 Jersey. So we're gonna get into the watch lists. Okay, so yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Ian. That's what I'm talking about. Let's get into these watches. We got a lot of news, earnings, lots to cover. Okay, let's get into this. Let's get into the watch list. Okay. All right. So let's look at the VIX. VIX is up 3.21%. Obviously, we'll get into it, but the market has been falling. Okay. 10-year yield has risen 1.65%. We're up to 3.6. That is important. Okay. Remember, I've been telling you guys about the bond market has not been in agreement with the equities. It's been rising. Yield's been rising. It's not good for tech, not good for equities. Okay. Dollar is rising. Also not good for commodities and not good for equities. Okay. Dow is down 0.32. Okay. ES down 0.58. 30-year bonds being sold. The Russell down 0.69. Nasdaq's down 0.81. Silver, with the strength of the dollar, down 1.2%. Gold, which hung in around 2K a while, right? Down 1.58 due to dollar strength. Crude's down 1.97%, down to $79 a barrel. Pretty significant. Okay. Bitcoin, another big loser, under 30K, down 3.43%. Ether down 5.2%. Okay, UK just had sticky inflation. Maybe that's why the euro is taking and pushing the dollar higher, right? Let's go to our next watch list. Okay, let's move over to the stocks I love to day trade. Okay, let's talk about those. Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs just got an upgrade. Okay, still down, but slightly down. Okay, Amazon. There's no really leader here. They're all down. Okay, just gonna go through here. Let's see. Don't have any news to any of these. Nvidia. No. Snow. Let's start with the 1%ers down. Snow down 1.23%. Baba's down 1.58%. Meta is down 1.62. Netflix had earnings yesterday, but gave weak guidance. Okay, really crashed down. I think they're like 300. Bought back up to 330. Now back down to 325. Okay, so sympathy play is para with that, and Roku's down. Okay, sympathy plays. Tesla. Oh boy. Oh boy. Now Tesla's earnings are today. Okay, they're aftermarket. but they're just cut their prices for the sixth time. That's going to cut into their revenue. Their margins are shrinking. That's not good. Okay. A very key level in Tesla is 180. 180 is a very key level. If it stays under there, it could really flush lower. Okay. Just have to see. Coin with the weakness in Bitcoin, and I saw some things coming on about some things in crypto. I can't remember it right now, but that's the reason why coin is down 3.14%. Now, a huge level for coin is 65. Kind of the same for Tesla. They're both big levels. Okay. Okay, let's move on. Top sector stocks. Okay, Johnson & Johnson had decent earnings yesterday. They are up. They are defensive. Walmart just had an upgrade. Okay, not up a ton, but they're up. All right. Let's go to the bottoms. All right, and actually, I just saw that Exxon got an upgrade, but it's down because crude's down. Okay, Qualcomm Semi down 0.9. Roblox Communications is down 1.25%. Morgan Stanley came out with earnings and they missed their profits. All right, so they're down 3.23%. So the banks, you know, that's going to contribute to the Dow weakness. But yeah, so Morgan Stanley. All right, so let's go into sectors. So sectors. Now, if you have the leader of utility, it's defensive. So, but that's not much of a leader, right? Let's go down to the weak guys. We already know these. Communications. Okay, that's going to be Netflix, down 0.87. Energy, we know that's crude. That's Exxon, Chevron. Semis is the weakest sector right now. Okay, Nvidia, AMD, that's the weakest. So that kind of wraps up our watch list. Okay, I'm going to really quickly get into some news I already talked about, but I'll just quickly go over it. I don't want to waste too much time because I talked about it enough. Okay, so let's get into some news. Give me 1 second here. All right, let's talk about some news. All right, so we got top news. Netflix reported mixed earnings. Tesla cuts prices for the sixth time. Talked about that. I just want to see if there's anything that I didn't talk about. United Airlines had decent earnings. I just want to make sure there's a lot of semiconductor stuff like TSM. All right. A lot of upgrades in the banking. So, like Bank of America got an upgrade. Bank of New York Mellon Corp got an upgrade. Goldman Sachs got an upgrade. Lockheed Martin, from the good earnings, got an upgrade. Netflix got a downgrade. Okay. And we have Tesla earnings, right? Other thing I wanted to talk about. UK inflation remains particularly sticky. So that's probably a cause for the weakness as well. So they got a 10.1 CPI, they expect a 9.8. That's important. That's really all I wanted to talk about in the news. We could definitely get into the daily charts now. All right. All right. So as always, let's start out with our zoomed out view of the SPY. You can see this is the whole year ago. up to date from a year ago. Most trader price right here, 395. Okay, we're above that, above all the major moving averages. All right, and we came up and kind of broke out of this range yesterday, but now we're back. And I talked about that. When you break out like that, it's a test, and you don't know if it's a move or it's a test. Right now, it looks like a test. If we continue to go back, let's go back to the from the October lows, and if we come back through here, you're gonna go to 410.64. If we move back, we're already at 411.74. We're about right here right now. Okay. Most likely we're gonna go right here to the bottom of the balance, and then we can move back. We could probably move back to 405 possibly. Have to see. It's not a prediction, just where we're at. All right, let's go to those cues. Zoomed out view, of course. Now look at this range, right? Some people can call that a bull flag, whatever. I don't read much into those patterns as much. Okay, so we came up to the 320. All right, so look, most traded price about 292, 293. Okay, above all the major moving averages. Okay, so we're at kind of like the top part of this range. So let's zoom in from the October lows. Okay, so what did we do yesterday? We opened up here, and we went a little higher, but couldn't break out of 320. So 320 is a key resistance level. We closed down here. Okay, we hit the this I have is the 80 daily. 9 and 8 is going to be kind of the same reading, so we kind of bounced right off that, waiting for Netflix. We kind of chopped around for a long time yesterday. So again, that's a look above, like the test. Now we came back down. We definitely could move back to 314, 313. Because what you're going to have is all these longs are going to be trapped, and you're going to traverse the range, which could basically bring us back to 306, 307. Very important. Okay. All right. Let's look at the Dow. Dow has that big level, right, that I always been talking about, the 336.19. Now you notice, zoomed out view of the Dow. This is over a year. We're at the most traded price right now. So this is going to cause choppiness in the Dow. You can see to the left, if you look to the left, all the volume that's been traded there. Okay, key level 336.19 as support, resistance 343.53. Let's zoom in from the October low and see what we did. Let's just go from this range. I'm just going to move it from this range over. Okay, so we're kind of in a range right now. You notice the Dow had like a hammer here. Okay, so it came down to the 80 daily and pushed off of it. A lot different, right? So you got a bigger boost. So you opened here, closed here, right? But you came down here and got a nice lift off here. The Dow is at 338 right now, so it's about right here. Okay, so you have this range that we're kind of holding. Now remember, United Healthcare is the largest holding in the Dow, and that's been seeing some buying. Okay, had earnings and kind of like went down a little bit, but the Dow, also Goldman Sachs is large in the Dow, so we have to keep an eye on these levels. All right, I have my eye on these two levels. Okay, all right, let's move on to the Russell, the weakest of the indexes. Overall, we're above the most traded price here, 174.38. We're in this range. You can see it's a kind of like an ascending triangle right here. This level is a monster, 179.10. Okay, let's zoom in. Okay, I have a fib from this high to this low. This 38.2 Fibonacci is still be resistance. The 179.10 is resistance. Okay, we zoom in on this. you can just see, what did we do again? I talked about this yesterday. Holding above, we opened up here. And we made a little, you can't see it probably, but there's a little wick up there. And look, we came right back. So that's a test. It's a look above this range and fail. I expect if there's further weakness for us to at least come down here to the bottom of this range to 175. All right, we're at 176.73 right now. We're right around here, below yesterday's low. Okay, keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on that. All right, now we're going to go into the triple-headed monster. Very, very important. 10-year yield. Very, very, very important. I've been talking about this. Okay. Look at this move. I was talking about this yesterday. Almost like bonds are moving higher, yields are rising, and equities are rising. They should go again. They're the inverse of each other. Now look at this move. We closed yesterday at 3 point. What did we close at? We closed at 3.57. Right now we're at 3.62, all the way up here. Our next key levels were 3.68. So if this keeps rising, this is telling us the market most likely might go down. Okay, this is the smart money. VIX. Now VIX all made a low. Right here, 1658. Now we're pushing up to 1737. If we get over 18, that's when you're going to see farther more weakness. So 18 is the level to look at. Okay, zoom in a little more. Got to get over this level right here. Okay, 18. So I'm putting an alert here for myself. Crosses above the resistance. All right, that's in there. Okay, look at that dollar now. Dollar. We got that doji land here. Okay, now it's moving up, but still, still kind of crashed, but now it's moving up. Hence, weakness in the metals. Okay, weakness in commodities. All right, this is usually the inverse of the euro. So euro should be moving lower. And right now we're at 109.08. So it's here. Okay. It's moving lower. If you look at the euro, we're kind of at the top of the range for the last year. Let's see. Let's see what happens, okay? Okay. All right. What are we get into now? Well, we're going to get into the volume profile, market profile. My favorite, okay? My favorite. So let's do that. All right, so any of the new subscribers that came in, this is what you probably been waiting for, is me talk about market profile and volume profile, how I look at the market, right? So let's get into this, okay? All right, let's look at this market. Okay, now this is market profile. Okay, these colorful rainbows, I mean, if I open them up, see they're actually letters. So for the new people here, market profile is, let's go to yesterday's session. So let me open this up. This is yesterday's. This is only real time. This isn't overnight, right? Just want to show for the new subscribers here, basically what market profile, a quick thing of it is. Okay, this is volume profile, the gray, but this is market profile, the colorful profile. Okay, and essentially all it is, if I break it out, Okay, we could zoom up, zoom in even more. All it is each letter represents a 30-minute bar. That's all it is. So A period is 30-minute bar. And they're called TPOs, time priced opportunity. So if you hear any jargon like a TPO, that's all it means. But it's A period is 9:30 to 10. B period is 10:30 to 11. It's all market profile is. It's just structuring the trade upright for you. Okay? So when you break it out though, all this is 30-minute bars. That's all it is. And you get a letter for each 30 minutes. That's all it is. When I first looked at this, it looked nuts to me. I was like, what the hell is that? It really did look nuts to me. Okay, but that's all it is. And when you collapse it down, it just makes like a profile, like a volume profile. But in this case, it's time. Volume profile is volume. Market profile is time. That's all it is. But when it looks like this, people go, what the hell are those letters? That's all it is. Really not much to it. Okay. All right, let me get this set up. So let's look at what's going on now. Okay, now, one important thing with the market profile as well, and this is really important, is you can't see this stuff in candlesticks. You just can't. Okay. And then the other thing is when I look at it like this, okay, we can see what happens in the overnight futures market. This is a whole session unto itself, which could you plan a trade according to this overnight session for the session starts at 9:30. You know, a lot of people when they come into the market, maybe if they trade SPY or something, they don't really pay attention to the pre-market that much, and it's not elaborate like the futures market, the volume and stuff like that. So, but there's a lot of information you can grab from the overnight session. Okay, I love seeing overnight session, real-time session, right? Yesterday session, overnight session. It just makes you look at the market totally different. So let's get into this. Let's look at what I look at as opposed to just market profile. I look at volume profile, market profile, supply and demand. Okay, most traded prices of the week and the month. That's what I look at. So let's get into this of what we first want to concentrate on. Let's look at the rolling 5-day volume profile. It's very balanced. Very balanced. Okay, so what we did yesterday, okay, is in the overnight right here. We gapped up, came into this supply zone, right? And what did I say yesterday? I said, if we move up in here and we can't build volume out here, we're going to go to value. Okay, see the volume, how it thinned out? That's less and less people trading at those prices. And I said, if we can't move the most traded price of the week up here, it's going to go back. That's what happened. And that's a look above and fail. That's why we're down here now. Because all these longs now have to cover. Okay, they got to liquidate their positions. Okay. Next thing we look at, most traded prices of the month and of the week. Well, where is that? 41.70 is the most traded price of the week. It moved up a little bit. Most traded price of the month still 41.30. And let me just move this up a little. Here we go. Okay. 41.30. Most traded price of the month, most traded price of the week, 41.70. So this could very well be ping-pongy in between these levels. But now, opposed to the days before, I have a bearish bias because we're below this most traded price of the week. Okay. And this 41.30, which is a very key pivot, we're heading towards it. It's a very likely destination. Okay, so now that we got the volume profile for the week and our big levels, now we have to look at what the overnight session is doing compared to yesterday. Okay, here's the yesterday's high, 41.94. Yesterday's low, 41.64.50. Okay, now we got to look what's in relation Where's the overnight session in relation to this? Well, price is right here, and here's the overnight low. Here's the overnight high. Okay, we're gapping down. Yesterday we were gapping up. Okay, it's a large gap. And in futures, you don't consider the close, the settlement, the gap. You consider the low of yesterday would be a gap fill, not the close. Okay, so we have a decently large gap. Now we're right on the 9 EMA daily, this yellow. Okay, and we're right in the demand zone. And we're right by this low. Okay, so what I want to see is we're below this level. I want to see us hold below 4170. That's what I care about, and that's what I'm going to talk about. Okay, now another thing to note is the overnight session opened here, only has this amount of buyers to this amount of sellers, and this means it's about 90% net short. 90% net short, and we're hanging out at the bottom in a demand zone. Okay, so I have to tell you, there is a potential here to get a little short covering, a little squeeze here, if we hold and can't break below this demand zone, because everybody's short. It's a nice play you could possibly just target here. So I'm going to talk about our trade plan now. Okay, so let's talk about the trade plan. All right, so my bias is bearish now. So what am I looking at? Oh, one thing, let's clear up real quick. And I always like to have the market tell me, give me market general information that I can say, okay, market's weak, market's strong, right? How do we do that? So really quickly, everybody who watches me knows it's the gap rules, right? So we're gapping lower. This would be the gap fill. Really quickly, I'm going to go through what's the most bearish. Most bearish, gap and go lower. Okay. Second most bearish, we pull back into range, can't fill the gap, go lower. That's still bearish, right? Sellers are still in control. Number 3, we go up here, fill the gap, then we fall. Okay, what is not bearish? Well, if we come up here, fill the gap, start moving back into range and kind of come to the most traded price of the week and kind of hold, well, then you know sellers are not that strong. Okay, that will tell you sellers are not that strong. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, okay, let's look at our trade plan. And I'm going to go for the short. Okay, so if you don't want to do the fade off the open, which is there because of the overnight inventory is net short, you're going to go for a short here. So I'm going to use this level, 4170. Okay, that's what I'm going to use as my barometer. So I would like to see a push up into this level. And even if we come up through it and come back down, that's your short. Where you're going to target, right? You're going to target the overnight low, which happens to be the 9 EMA daily and its demand zone. Okay, that's 4150. Now 4150, that's the target. Okay, if you want to hold more contracts, if you're trading futures, and we can break, you're going to have to deal with this monthly VWAP of 4142. You very well can move down to 4130. This is the ultimate, target, most traded price of the month. Okay, that's one short play. The next, which I think is a little more riskier, a little more riskier, is if you come up here, do the same thing. You come up, but you break this and you hold this level, but you come into the supply. And I wouldn't be crazy about shorting here, but you could get a couple lower highs. Then you'd target here first, 4170, and then you would go for these targets. Okay? I just don't love it as much because you're above this key level. But I have to still give you that scenario. Okay? That's what I'd be looking at. That's for the shorts. Let's go for the longs. Okay, I talked about, now this is the beauty of market profile, right? I wouldn't really know this if I'm not going to see this structure with candlesticks, right? So what do we have here for the long? Okay, let's just say we're in demand here. We're at the 90 MA daily. Okay, we're at the value area low of these 5 days. So whoever says, hey, I want to buy the bottom of this range, this is where this short comes in, right? So we already know mostly everybody's short here. We're at the bottom of the range, which is good. The most traded price, this is just the opposite of yesterday. The most traded price is down here, right here. So you know people are short all in here. So if you want to look for the fade off the open, what I would look for, I'd want to see a push lower, even break out of this demand zone. But then if you get a nice whip back up, make a lower high, well, guess what's going to happen? And there's a little bit of single prints here, but not a lot, okay? What's going to happen is if you come up above this most traded price and hold it, you go long. You can go long from here, but you also, that's extra confirmation, go long here, and you target 4170. Next target is this supply zone and the most traded price of yesterday, around 4178. If you want to hold one on, go for yesterday's high in this supply, 4194. Okay, that is an aggressive short, long. Okay, if you want to be a little more conservative, I would suggest if we make this move, wait for us to hold above here, break this supply. You want to break it, and then even if it comes back down, still holds this, make a lower high. There you go long. You target here. If we drop down here, there's a demand zone here with 4130. Even if we do this, drop into this demand, and we come across here, lower high, that is another one that you could get long at, because now you're at the bottom of the range. You've traversed this big level. That's what I'm talking about. All right, so we have that. Hope everybody's with me. Hope everybody understands. Let's go to the NASDAQ. Okay, let's look at this NASDAQ. Now, a little recap of yesterday, which happened beautifully. What I talked about yesterday. This was the overnight. Okay, this is what I talked about. I'm going to zoom in a little bit on it because it's just a beautiful, beautiful thing. What did I talk about yesterday? I said, look, I said right here, all long, excuse me, long, single prints, not much volume. We're about 85% net long. Most traded price up here in the overnight, right? That's the toothpick holding up the elephant. I said if we come down, if we come back down, we're going to take it out and we're going to go here. And then I said the big move is if we can break this with force, it's going to take out the people who are along here. And we got exactly that. Because look what happened. We opened, pushed up right to the overnight high, and came down and slammed it. Made our own single prints here. That's emotional selling. All the way back down to here. Came all the way to this low. Beautiful. Beautiful market profile setup. It was awesome. All right. That's happened 2 days in a row now. So now let's look at our NASDAQ, just like we did the ES. Let's look at our profile for the week. So we got thin volume here, big distribution here. Okay. Where's price now? Right here at the key level. 130.80 is the key level in the NASDAQ. Huge, huge level. Break that, we're going lower. Okay. Hold it, gives everybody a shot again in the NASDAQ to go higher. Okay. So, so where do we now? Again, we're gapping lower. Okay. But let's look at our levels. Okay. I don't want to skip that. Let's look at our levels. 130.80 is our key. This is the most traded price of the last 30 days. Okay. What was that? 131. Let me see that. 131. 131.80 is the most traded price of the week. So we could ping pong in between these levels today. Very, 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 that very much can happen. Those are the key levels. Okay. We're still holding this level. Break that level. Bias definitely short. We're below this. We're below the most traded price of yesterday, so my immediate bias is short. Okay. So gap and lower. So what do we look at now? Right? We know where we are with the key levels. We know where we are with the profile. What do we look at now? We look at where we're at. Overnight high, overnight low. Yesterday's high, yesterday's low. Okay, so we're gapping lower into this big level. You can see all of the lows here. Got a low here, and a low here. Holding this level. So it's begging to be broken, but that doesn't mean it has to be. And we're gapping, right? So we already talked about the gap. What's the weakest? A gap and go. Second weakest, a fail to fill the gap but go lower. Third weakest, fill the gap, go lower. And then if we fill the gap and go into range, you know that now the sellers aren't that strong. That's the information we look for. Okay? Got a little bit of a single print here. So we got some thin volume here. Okay? We're almost 100% net long. We're about 90% net long. This is all the long activity in the overnight right here. All of this is short. Okay? Okay. Most traded price of the overnight is here. So we got shorts in here. And it's ripe for a fade. Just like I talked about in the ES. Okay, but it's very, very simple what we're going to do here. Very, very simple. Okay, we got some supply zones here that can help us out. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Hope everybody's staying with me here. Reminder. Okay. So let's get into that short plan. All right. Now excuse me, this is Alexa. I gotta change that. So this is where we're at right here, right? So what I'm gonna talk about is we're gonna use this level, the most traded price of the week, 131.80. Okay. We're also going to use this supply as well. So you got a couple choices here. Okay, the first one is we hold this level, but we come into here, this supply, and it's also monthly VWAP at 131.34. Monthly VWAPs here, okay, in a supply zone with the 9 EMA daily. So if you get weakness here, and remember that would be failing to fill the gap if we don't fill it. But two different things here. I'm sorry. This supply zone actually encapsulates the gap fill. So we could not fill the gap, or we could just fill it. This is a nice short here. Right here, you got a lot of confluence. You could short down to the 130.80 level. This is also the 20 simple moving average right here. There's your target. Okay. Now this is a tough level to go through, but if you do, you're going to make a move all the way to this demand zone around, say 13,000. Okay. Now that's the gap fill short, or the fail to fill the gap short. Okay. Next is you can move up to this level. There's a supply zone. Okay, and that's also the most traded price of yesterday. You can fail here, and what I would do is then you can target here and then here. Okay, now a conservative short, if we get a gap and go, if we move here, okay, and we pull back and we hold under this level, hold, well then you go short and target here. Those are the short plays. Okay, let's talk about the long. All right, now we have a key level here with the 20 simple moving average. Now, same thing here, right? Overnight inventory is net short. Concentrated volume here. These are shorts here. Okay. So even if we dip below this, come above it, hold, lower high, you definitely want to take a long. Okay. Target the gap fill in this supply. If we break this supply, hold, you keep it on. Now we're targeting yesterday's most traded price. Okay, that 131.80. If you still have some contracts, now we're going to go and target up here. Yes, towards yesterday's highs. Okay, now if we break the 130.80 level, which is very bearish, but we have a demand zone here. Now we'll got to see the weakness, but if we start, making higher lows, then you could target back here. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense to everybody. That's the plans. That's how we use our levels. We got our plans. Okay. We have our plans. Now, really quickly, I wanted to show you guys the hourly charts in the futures just for a second. So I'm going to hit you with the watch list really quickly. We'll look at the ES first. Okay. Now, what I did here is did a Fibonacci from this low to this high. Look where the ES is right now. 50% Fibonacci is 41.54. This dotted red line. That's what we're holding right now. Okay. And you can see my levels, most traded price of the month, most traded price of the week. Okay, you can see my levels. So in far as Fibonacci, it's holding it. It's holding it, okay? So next thing I wanted to show you is what the volume looks like, just to give you a perspective of the volume profile from this level. So I'll start it right here, move it over all the way to here, and you can just see the volume come up, right? And what's cool is you can see my levels, why they're important, right? Look at this box. That's why I have 4170 is the most traded price. Look at the volume. See the big volume spike, right? And you can just see all the volume's been concentrated in this area. Just wanted to give you guys a visual. Okay. Finally, let's go with the NASDAQ. We'll zoom it in. Okay. So I did a Fibonacci as well from this low to this high. Now you can see it's a little weaker. We're underneath the 50% Fibonacci level, which is 1311. We're underneath it. But what we're holding is that monster level. Here's my 130.80 level in the 20-day simple moving average, as well as this trend line. This trend line, I'll zoom it out to show you how strong the trend line is. So that's just a trend line confluence there. Okay. And then we have the most traded price of the week and yesterday. So why don't we just go ahead and put a volume profile on that as well, just to show you why the levels matter. Right from this point to here. Okay. Why do I use those most traded prices? Well, look at that volume. 130.180 in my box, most traded price of the week. You can see the huge volume here. Okay. And it just so happens that this 130.80 level, if you break it, what are you breaking? The 61.8 Fibonacci level. And that's usually the last line of defense of a retracement. Once you close below this, you usually then go back 100%. Okay. I left you with that. That's going to be it for me. Hopefully you guys, new guys, stuck with me. Building this thing to 100 subscribers, and we're going to go for more. Okay, so hopefully all that made sense. We have our plans. Market opens up in 17 minutes. As always, trying to build this channel. Please subscribe. Get me over that 100. Okay? Get me over that 100. Of course, give me a big like. There's my big hand coming up. Oh, my daughter's doing better. Thanks, Colby. Follow me on Twitter, Gonzo719. Also, Gonzo719 Jersey and Instagram. Alright. Everybody, I hope everybody has a good day trading. Stay patient. Stay patient. Okay? Stay green. Wait for the setups that we talked about. Okay? I will make it a video update. You know, I've been doing a lot of shorts. I'm putting them up on my Twitter, putting them on my Instagram. I don't think you guys get notifications on my shorts, but that's helping me grow the channel. So I did have a long in coin yesterday. I didn't do a video for it, but that was right off the open. That worked out pretty well. What else? I was gonna a long Nvidia, and I took it off, and then it would have been like a 250% winner, but you can't win them all, right? So I'm looking at Tesla today. I'm looking at coin today above or below 65. Tesla above or below 180. Those are very, very key levels. Okay, very, very key. So thank you everybody who watched. That was new. Hopefully you stuck around, you learned something. I'm trying to grow. I will update with a video later, but if not, everybody have a great day, and I'll see everybody tomorrow.